At this time, let me call this meeting to order and establish we do have a quorum. Basilio Villarreal present. Jay Peña?
Present.
Eduardo Eri Ramirez?
Present.
Dr. Veronica Barrera?
Present.
Noe Castillo?
Present.
John A. Pope IV?
Present.
And Mr. Eleazar Velasquez.
Present.
At this time, let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Velasquez.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jay Peña, invocation.
Dear God, bless me as I perform my duties as a member of the school board. Give me wisdom to properly manage finances. Ensure I have your strength so I may act as a worthy advocate for our children's future. Let us exercise good judgment in the decisions that we make and help us to have good and clear communication. Last of all, never let us forget what a privilege it is to serve our community. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
At this time, let's go to approval of the minutes, special board meeting, May the 15th of the year 2024. Regular board meeting, May the 28th of the year 2024. Public meeting, June the 17th of the year 2024. And special board meeting, June 17th of the year 2024. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Second.
Second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, public forum. Nobody? Okay, we keep on going. I'm going to dispense with the reports on this meeting. We can do them in the next meeting. We have a long agenda. So we're going to go to section 7, recommendations for approving consent agenda. The board has agreed to discuss the following items. Motion to approve item 1 and 2 of the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Castillo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, I'm going to go through some items that are basically about facilities and lending facilities to different organizations, whether it be Girl Scouts, cities and stuff like that, which would be, can I have a motion to approve item 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, I believe.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Second, John?
Elias.
Second by Elias. Any discussion? And these are all basically consider and take possible action on requests from the City of Rio Grande City and Gruya, Back to School, Night of Prayer. And these are all facilities, okay? So,
On item number 4, this already happened. This was June 28th and 29th.
right, we're just ratifying it, yes. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, let's go to, I'm going to go through a few items against to expedite things. Do I have a motion to approve item 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12? A motion and then second, and then any discussion.
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
I have a question for the number 8. I just want a brief explanation since it's a change order.
And I'm guessing on 8 through 12, we're going to have some type of updates on all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Fino Garza, please.
Good afternoon, members of the board.
Good afternoon. Just a brief explanation of this.
On the projects,
On the change order.
on the change order.
Yeah, on number 8.
You know, let's see, the change order on the range hood, I believe was presented last month, but basically, the initial contract only had the cooler and the freezer, although that range hood and all the kitchen equipment was part of the contract. But during the negotiation of the contractor, it was removed, and now we're just putting it back.
And that is for 69,000?
It was 69,000.
Are the other ones additional, the 43, or it's just one?
It was just that one item.
Okay.
Mr. Garza, and that doesn't affect the contract, so we're still within budget?
Are we still in the budget? Yes, sir.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
much is our contingency still at?
I don't have it in front of me, but it's here.
More or less.
I would say it was like $150,000.
We still have
Yes, sir.
$150,000 left?
125, 150, something like that.
This change order was for the fire suppression system, correct?
It was for the range hood and with a fire suppression system.
Because now I think that's required, just in case there's fires and things like that.
It's always required, you know, and again, it used to be part of the contract, but during the negotiations, if you remember, the bid was $45 million. And then after negotiations, we brought it down to, I think it was 41 million. And that was part of the things that we lost during the negotiations. And right now, we're trying to put that range hood with the fire suppression system back in the contract.
So this was the reason why people would think that there wasn't going to be like a working cafeteria?
I guess
Because of
so,
all this-
yes.
okay.
But it was designed with all the equipment, and we even got a price for all of the equipment. Just at one point, the kitchen, the Patsy Ramirez in charge of the kitchen said that she had a lot of that equipment that she did not need it new, that she could substitute some of the equipment that she has for that one, so that was why we were able to remove it.
Let me ask him, just so we can clarify, Gruya Middle School does have a cafeteria and a
Absolutely,
working
sir.
kitchen, correct, sir?
Yes, sir, and it was designed with everything in it.
Okay, and we do have a cafeteria for kids to sit down and things like that?
Absolutely, sir.
Okay.
Dining, a cafeteria, serving line, a snack bar, everything, sir.
Because there was a time where he's saying we didn't have a cafeteria. I just want to make sure we do have a cafeteria.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me ask a couple of questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
On the cosmetology, how far along are they? Because we had said that we wanted it before the beginning of the school year. How long are they as far as percentage completion?
I met with them in the first couple of weeks of July, and they were trying to finish it up within 2 weeks. I have a meeting with them this afternoon, so I suspect we should be in good shape to deliver it to you before the school begins. And I think the welding should be in the same category. You know, they should be finishing with that real soon.
So after we pay these two applications, how much money is still left to pay them? Do you know?
Okay, the Gruya Middle School would have a balance of $12,242,000. The cosmetology barber still has a balance of $904,000. And yeah, even there's another item, I think it's item 13 is on this building. And it has a balance of $34,700.
Mr. Garza, in your anticipation and your prediction, do you believe that the amount for the middle school, the $12,442,000, are we going to be over in any amount, or is that going to complete the whole project?
So far, there's a couple of items that are kind of on our backs right now. One of them is negotiating the water rights with La Gruya. Another one was
With La Gruya or La Unión?
the water utility, and there was another one. I think it was the division of the property. Excuse me, the division of the property between the high school and the middle school. They're still waiting on that. And there's another item like that, and they all belong to us. I mean, to the school district. So those are the biggest things that are weighing on the project that have not been resolved yet.
But that's outside of the project. The project was the middle
Yes,
school.
that is correct.
These are additional problems that came
Yes, that's
up.
correct.
Okay.
The project, as of last week, is on schedule, and I even think it's ahead of schedule, although they were hesitant to admit it, but it seems to be that they are ahead of schedule. I don't foresee that it's going to go beyond the days in the contract on the middle school.
Baltasar, out of curiosity, on the water rights, where are we at with that now that we're?
Yes, sir. We have already submitted an amended contract to Union Water Supply, and they have already approved it. So this board's approved it, the Union Water Supply, so we're now waiting to submit it to the county for approval. So it should be in the next week or two, whenever the county meets, but we're hoping that they'll put it on the agenda. But Union Water Supply has approved it, and so has the district. We had to rewrite it a couple of times, but it's pretty much done, subject to the county approving.
And on cosmetology and the welding, that should not be over, we should not be able to go over that price as well, right?
That's correct. Yeah, those should be pretty much settled already. And we're expecting delivery of those projects within 30 days.
Any more questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
But I gotta abstain on item 8 and 9.
Okay, let the record reflect that Noe is abstaining from item 8 and 9. All those in favor signify by, everybody said aye. Noe is 8 and 9 abstaining. Anything else? Not, if not, all those in, motion passes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. At this time, let's go to item, can I motion to approve item 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 as presented in our board packet with discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. I guess I asked on the training, Mr. Garza, on the training facility, how much money was still left on this training facility here?
Oh, let's see. The balance is $34,777, including the retainage, which is 5% of the contract.
Okay. How much of the building is complete already?
It's, to my knowledge, the only thing is to verify that the generator's hooked up. There might be, for example, there was a problem with the floor. It's a punch list item. They were waiting for new material to arrive so they can change out some of the flooring in the building. But that's like a warranty item. And the project is considered complete even though that's still outstanding.
I think there was a discussion there where basically on the generator, whether it was going to be connected to natural gas or propane. What was decided on that, sir?
I'm not sure. They went.
Propane.
Okay.
The tank's already set up.
Okay.
Yeah, the natural gas was going to take extra money and extra time, and I think it was decided that the propane was going to be the fastest.
Who did we buy the tank from, Mr. Peña? Any idea?
Ms. Robles,
Propane. Grandy Butane?
Yes.
the propane
Grandy
tank,
Butane?
the vendor.
Well, I just want to make sure it wasn't bought from my company, okay? That's all. It was probably bought. There's other propane dealers here in our district. And
Across the
hopefully
street.
they bought it from that particular propane. I
think
just want
I-
to make it perfectly clear, it's not from my
I think I
company.
already saw it on Facebook, it's Grandy Butane.
Okay. With that said, do we have a motion, a second? Do we have a motion for that? I think we did, right? A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
At this time, can we have a motion to approve item 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23?
Mr. Varela, you skipped item 18.
Huh?
Item 18.
Okay, I'm sorry. To approve, I thought we had gone through 18.
No, I went to 17.
Okay, let's have a motion to approve item 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23 as presented in our board packet with discussion.
So moved.
Okay, second? Do we have a second?
A second.
Second with Mr. Pope. Go through them, see if you have any questions.
On item 19, the budget amendment was one that was brought before, correct? Was that the
the raise, or? I know there was, I think it was something about before, we just had to put it back on the agenda. Might be child nutrition, something like that.
That budget amendment pertains to last fiscal year. So basically, we just submitted a last final amendment just so that, to make sure that we would not go over on any functions, because if we do, we would have a finding with TEA. So basically, we're just making sure that everything was
You're balancing it
within
out,
the.
correct?
Yes, sir.
I think it was submitted before, I think we had seen it before, right?
Yes.
Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I just need to abstain from number 18.
Okay, let the record reflect that Noe Castillo is abstaining in item 18. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, let's go to item 24 and 25. Motion to approve item 24 and 25 with any discussion.
I'll second. This is going to be a long one, I think.
Okay. I need a motion.
I'll second pending
Okay.
discussion.
Okay, there's a motion, there's a second. Go ahead.
Okay, I just need to understand, is page 290 part of agenda item number 24?
No,
Okay. But we've got, I think.
290 was item 23.
And my packet has number 24s, I think.
No, that one was through item 23.
Yes.
Right, so then
We already got that.
it's not numbered in mine, and then,
Okay.
So for item 25 has all those different ones, right? You're going through those already?
Yeah, you can
So
go
I'm
through
gonna
any one
abs-
that you want.
I'm gonna abstain for 2449 and 2452.
Abstain?
Abstain.
2449, pages 309 and 319.
I have a question on CSP number 24-60. That's family restrooms at Sanchez Stadium. Mr. Guerra.
On that one, we don't have an item. We didn't bring anything. It was left on the June, so they put it back on
I
this
didn't
one.
see anything, I just want to make sure that there was, because it says there's no proposals, right?
It doesn't have anything, so we actually advertised, so it's gonna be coming out this week.
It was left
For
blank,
the
I
new
just want to
bid.
make sure that's nothing that we have to.
There's nothing
Basically,
here.
We have to eliminate that one.
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
What was said at the last board meeting in June was, we received one proposal, the pricing came in too high, so we were gonna go out and rebid the bid project.
there was no proposal.
And that was to do new restrooms or fix the ones, because I know
It-
I talked to you, Mr. Peña, about repairing a lot of the broken stuff. Is this repairing or this is doing completely new
This is to repair,
repair? Okay.
yes.
And so right now, we're not repairing so far.
As of right now, no, we're going back out for bids, so the advertisement will come out tomorrow.
So basically eliminate this from the agenda, correct, sir? Because we're not approving anything today.
Yes, sir. We're not approving anything.
What about RFP 2449, where we only got one quote on the proposal property and liability insurance? Nobody else submitted? No?
We had another vendor that was working through, and last minute, they had other items, but they were not able to meet the deadline. So, and of course, with insurance, we have to move forward, so that's why we brought it to the board. And it had come back in June.
Mr. Guerra, I have another question. RFQ 2505. I'm just curious because I know there was two people that submitted proposals, and without saying full names, they're Cardenas and Barrial, right? So Barrial has a response total of the amount, but the other one has zero. Did that person just not fill that part out?
They did not submit an amount, so we included them, so y'all could see that there was somebody else, but since they did not submit pricing, we cannot consider them.
So they just left it blank?
They submitted everything, and they left the pricing out.
Gotcha.
And what were the consultants, what were they in charge of doing? Like what, excuse my ignorance, but what does a consultant do for that program?
They give guidance. I know Ms. Ramirez reaches out to them for things like ongoing things throughout the year for changes and things like that from USDA or TDA, things that are going on. Also through Region 1, because we're in, how do you say it? We work with Region 1 closely, but also she does get guidance from them as well.
Okay.
Let me ask, on the bids that we've gotten, the bids are, just to clarify, we are going for the lowest bid, correct? Or we're recommending the lowest bid on the bids that are bids, correct?
On the bids, yes, that we have there for the lowest bid, we do have one for copy and computer paper, which is bid 25-04. We do have the top three. only because in case one can't provide the services that we need for paper to continue operating throughout the school year, we'd go with the second lowest. And then if they can, well, we'd go with the third. And they are listed on there. I don't know if you all have that in your all's packet.
Let me ask, on the RFPs that we've got, the RFPs, is there any one that's higher than any of the other ones, or are we also going with the lowest RFP quotes?
From the RFPs that we have, they're all the lowest. And all the attachments with pricing is on there.
Yeah, I confirm they're the lowest on all of them. On a global question, because it shocks me that we don't get proposals, or we just get one sometimes. What are the efforts, or what can we do? I mean, it's just kind of shocking to me that we're not getting proposals for a school district, which normally, I would assume, gets tons of them. Are there any efforts that your office takes or that you think might be beneficial?
I know for us, obviously, we put it on the paper, which is a local paper. We have it on the ion wave system, which is across the whole U.S. So once we put it out, since everything is now electronic, everyone and anyone that is tied to that commodity, so let's say in this case, copy and computer paper. So everyone and anyone that deals with that, they get an alert. So if they're interested in submitting a proposal, then they go on there and they submit a proposal to us.
Didn't we already discuss the option that we're gonna have these things go also through the monitor and other, like Valley?
I know we do get the engineers or architects, especially on construction projects. They reach out to vendors or contractors. Of course, if we haven't showed to a proposal, it does not mean that they're actually going to submit at the end of the day. That's one other avenue that we've had, that they reach out to vendors or contractors. Like I mentioned, it comes out on the town crier, the ion wave. We can do the monitor. That would be up to the board if y'all want us to do that. The only thing is, of course, the price is to a substantial amount. But we can do that if that's something you all want us to do. And we
Real quickly, on the insurance on that we're quoted, the one I don't understand is basically, if you look at the code, it says active assailant optional, 19,089. What is that? We didn't have it last year, but we're gonna have it this year.
no, we did not get it, sir. It's just something they price us on.
Okay.
So we did not get
What
it.
was that about? So we did not get that particular
2440.
item on the quote.
The active assailant one, right? The optional?
Yeah, but
That-
I understand that, but what does that mean, active assailant? Any idea?
To my knowledge, what has been mentioned to me before, it's pretty much on the whole, like, security and things like that. Whenever, I know for us, we have our own PD within our school district, so it's in reference to that. That's what was mentioned to me. I don't know the full details, but I can bring it back to you all, so that way I can email it to you all.
Okay.
Is that, what item were you discussing?
We're talking on the insurance?
On the insurance still, okay.
2449.
Okay, so I still have a couple of questions. For the truck, there is, okay.
For which one?
The vehicle, the 2455.
Okay.
This vehicle is for special education. It's a brand-new vehicle, and we're purchasing, or looking to purchase from Mission?
From Spexford? Yes, the one from here from Mission.
Okay. And did we try shopping local?
We put it out there. I mean, if they don't submit, I mean,
Okay,
like,
so it
yeah.
was-
And like you see, we did get 3 different proposals.
And then for this vehicle, I'm just wondering, special education department, how, for what is it that they're gonna use it, Ms. Garcia? I'm just wondering because I had heard that the kids from ROTC also needed a vehicle to transport, I think it was like their horses, and I'm just wondering if these vehicles could be like on a schedule where you could get a vehicle that could accommodate to both and then use, between 2 programs.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And to answer your question, we have allocated funding through our Special Education 199 local fund to purchase this vehicle. And the reason and the purpose of the use of this vehicle is going to be for the district-based 18-plus program that we're about to open. We are going to utilize it so that we can transport equipment that we need to transport there, plus also all the deliveries that we make to all the classroom units, life skills units throughout the school district. It is very difficult for us. We have a very small car for us to transport all the goods and things that we need to take to the different units. We right now have 36 units at the district level, so we have to make many, many different trips. So we kind of borrow the concept that the nutrition services program uses, which is their little vans, and it's going to just have a two-seater in the front, and then the back is going to be open space for us to be able to transport those goods that we need so that we can make quicker deliveries to the needs of our students throughout the district.
I understand.
And
Thank
in
you.
terms of like having it on a schedule for others to utilize, that's kind of like difficult because we do have a lot of students to serve across the district, and that's the reason why.
I see, okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask Chris on the 5,000 and over. I know that we had brought this, and I know budgets are tight, but on 369929, we had already talked about, I think, these mariachi uniforms to hold off to see how our budget is, but I noticed they were brought back again.
Since it was the same copy from that meeting in June, everything stayed the same. So that's why they were not removed.
At this time, I think we need to kind of, I've seen the mariachi uniforms, I've seen both of them, they look pretty good. And as far as funding to go and spend, $31,000, I think budget restraints right now, I think we need to go out there and take a look and see how they are, somebody to go check them out and make sure they do need them before we go spend that kind of money. Because, like I say again, I've seen them, they look pretty good, and right now, like I say, budgets are tight. Or where's Ms. Robles? Ms. Robles? Talk to me about this, please.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. On the mariachi uniform, I'm just saying, budgets all over the state of Texas are real tight. And it's okay if it was something in the academics, but I've seen the mariachi uniforms on both sides, La Grulla and Rio Grande, they're still pretty good. Don't you think we need to go and inspect them to see if they really need them or not, rather than to spend $31,000, because budgets are tight right now, and just to go spend money like that is tough.
Yes, sir. So
What
right
do you
now,
think?
basically, the budget is pretty tight and constrained, as you all know. So basically, we will look into that matter and talk to Mr. Rodriguez and see what we can do about that. But
I think what I would recommend is somebody go out there and check them out and see if they are really needed. If they are, we'll go ahead, but let's go find out if they're really, really needed first.
yes, sir.
So at this time, on the 5,000 and over, I just want an amendment basically to exclude those two items till we go out there and research and see if they're absolutely, and they need it, let's go, but we need somebody to go take a look. Can we have an amendment like that?
Yeah, so move to approve the amendment.
Second?
Second.
Any more discussion on any of these?
One more, RFP 2452. I just want to get Doc McGuire's approval. It's too important. It's a student accident insurance. I know it plays a pivotal role when our kids get injured. So I think it's the lowest bid, but are you comfortable with this company?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it was the lowest bid and the lowest CAT also, and it's the same plan we've had for the last 4 years. It just renewed. We did have a decrease of about 29,000 from 299, I think, to I'm sorry, from 399 down to 380. So, yeah, it's the lowest bid, and it's the same plan we've had the last 4
You
years.
haven't had any problems with them before?
No, the claims are excellent. The claims processing are excellent, so
Thank
we're
you.
happy with them.
I
Thank you,
got
Doc.
I got a couple of questions. First of all, do we have insurance for catastrophic injuries or not on this one?
Yes, we do.
So if somebody gets hurt, like a spinal injury, things of that nature?
Yes,
do
we're going to we have,
Okay. The next question I have for you is, in comparison to a year ago, or as we go, last year, as far as injuries were concerned, did we have about the same, less, or more? Or
we had a significant drop in injuries last year. Our claims losses were at approximately 170,000 for the paid, when our normal has been around 290 to 300,000
What do you
paid
attribute
out.
that to, sir?
You know, I don't know. That's the lowest year. I do keep track of them for the last 10 years. That's the lowest in the last 10 years. Even only year lower was COVID, which that was a shortened season and we only had varsity. So that's the only year that was lower, and it was only 40,000, 60,000 more
And I
than
think
what
that
we spent.
accounts for the drop in price, too.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's
Let me
all,
ask-
that, I don't know why it was that low. We haven't had that year that low since.
But we've got all the protective gear, like, for example, I know knee braces for your linemen and things of that nature. correct?
Yes, we did purchase, I think we had the quarterback club purchase knee braces. We are getting better off-season. The coaches are doing a better job with the off-season program. I think we had coordinators, so it's getting better. I'm optimistic always. Less injuries, always better.
Amen.
Mr. McGuire, I think second place, it wasn't too far off from first. If, assuming that the amount, we weren't going with the lowest bidder, would you still pick Texas Insurance? Or
Yes,
would you
their claims
consider
are
SIP?
excellent. The company that did come in second,
So their
their
compensation-
claims were a little slow. They're 3 to 5 months to pay. A lot of questions. They would submit stuff to the parents. Parents are bad about answering the insurance companies until they get sent to collection. So usually then I have to get it and kind of backtrack in trouble. So the claims we have, they pay. If there's any problems, they let us know right away.
'Cause the
And I haven't had
difference
problems
is-
with them paying claims.
It's marginal. It's a
Yeah.
difference.
The other group, we had them for 2 years, and there was a lot of paperwork. They had to go in. They would always ask parents for more information, and if the parents didn't respond, then they didn't pay the claim.
So we have, the company we have is, we've had experience with them before.
Yes, and they pay the claims. They don't usually ask for more information. Sometimes
So you
it's really
recommend them,
nitpicking.
basically?
Yeah.
Doc, one more thing. I know they have premiums for athletic accident and then catastrophic. But on the premium for voluntary accident, it says school time, 24 hours. Do they not have a premium for that one?
Yes, there's a premium. I don't know what they are right now, but I usually don't base that off, since the parents usually buy that, so I don't usually include that in my evaluation.
Oh, that's up to
of
the parents whether they
insurance.
wanna purchase
Yeah, the parents pay that.
Got it.
You know, and they purchase it from the
The same company?
company.
They
Gotcha.
all have A-rated underwriters.
They're all A-rated. Both companies that bid were A-rated.
Thank you for your time, Doc.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor, signify
I
by.
have question on the access controls of the middle school and elementary, because I see that we're going with a bid that had 2. It was the lowest bid, but it only has 2 instead of 4. All the other bids have 4. I'm just wondering, are those the gate? Can somebody explain, are we still gonna have the security that we need by going with the lowest bidder, or is that gonna,
The access control?
yes,
Give me a moment.
What item is that? What bid is? what-
2456?
Page 323.
So it just caught my eye that it is the cheapest, but then again, it's the only one that is it has 2 lines responded. Like, can you explain that?
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So whenever we put out the bids, we have different line items for them to put depending on the item that we're asking for. So sometimes they'll just put, let's say, like, no alternative for, let's say, like labor or for additional, let's say, access controls. Sometimes an access control will come in, the unit price will be, let's say, 2,000. And if there's additional required that, let's say, we left some out, then they'll quote them at a higher price, let's say at 2,200. In this case, for them, they're quoting them at the same price. So whether they're additional or not, they're the same. So to the responses to that, that's what that is in reference to, if that answers your question.
I'm still confused on that one. Do you guys understand that?
Now, Dr. Barrera raises an interesting point. I think but I think for another reason, which also Mr. Ramirez points out, I think the difference between the first and second, and really all of them it's pretty drastic. I just hope we're not missing a detail here. So if we flip to page 325, right? And then I hope this isn't something that we should be discussing, I think, in close, right? Because it relates to security, but, and maybe that's gonna keep us from, I think, vetting a lot of the details. But it is security, so.
I guess what we can say is, there's one that's half, the lowest one is, but the second one closest to the lowest bid is about double.
So
And it
I'm
goes
just
almost
wondering if we're sacrificing security for a cheaper bid.
We just gotta
That
make,
was my question.
it makes you
Ba-
wonder why it's so drastic.
Yeah.
50% less than the second.
Correct.
And then again, everybody that submits, they submit their own, I guess, how would you say, proprietary system that they have in place. So a lot of times, that's why, like, if you see like Telepro, if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the Because I'm trying to find, since we have a lot of items.
Right.
I'm trying to find a
Without saying
particular one.
prices or names, please.
Yeah, it's, okay, I have it here. Yeah, because the prices they vary from the lowest to the highest being,
A lot.
if you would, almost a
4
million.
times.
Yes. And based off of, like how Dr. Barrera mentioned, that she questioned, how come all of them have 4 and they have 2? It was just in reference to that. If it's something you need us to send you all, we can send that to you all. But it's based off of that, the fact that, we question things, we put items on there. So if they don't submit to it, I mean, it doesn't mean that they didn't submit the proposal. It's just on certain things, they did not respond to it because the pricing was still the same. And they had something else in place. So, but, I mean, we're bringing it to you all. If you all need us to hold off on it and bring it back later.
I'd like the motion on this one, if we could, to postpone to possibly discuss in closed session on the security details.
It's because I think it might be a safety item, and there's a lot of questions.
It
I
is,
think.
it is a safety item.
Oh, I think it's better we discuss it in executive.
Okay. Can we have an amendment to move that item to closed session?
Yes, so the amendment to the motion would be to move agenda item 25, which is 24-56, into closed session.
I still have another question. For the small kitchenwares on bid 2459, I think that's about $140,000. And then there's another, also for the small kitchenwares is $71,000. And so we're in a budget. Can somebody explain to me what are these kitchenwares? Are these just like pans and pots, or what is this?
Which one did you mention was that one?
It was for 2506 and 2559. They say equipment and small kitchenwares. Small kitchenwares.
2459.
Good afternoon, everyone. Those RFPs are for part of the plan to reduce fund balance. We are on a timeline to go ahead and spend that amount of money and on the items that we need in the kitchens. Those are for large pieces of equipment. They are not pots and pans.
Thank you. Do you have a list of those?
You should have a PO. I believe it was already
I don't.
approved.
That's why there isn't anything.
I believe the purchase order was already approved. Am I right, Chris?
It doesn't have any.
It's for warmers, and it is for serving counters for Rio Grande City High School and Veterans Middle School.
So, Ms. Ramirez, if we don't spend the money, we lose it, correct?
They can withhold the funds.
So basically, the state, correct me if I'm wrong, they give us monies, but then we have to expend it in.
We are investing back in our program. So we are going to go ahead and allocate those funds where they're needed, and they are needed in updating and furnishing the staff with the resources that they need to do their job.
And I'm wondering, can we use those funds to give raises
No,
to the
No,
people
ma'am.
that work in the cafeteria? Okay,
no, ma'am.
all right, thank you.
Ma'am, I trust, you. I'll be honest with you, the food services does a great job. You've done a great job. You've always basically had a good, healthy bump balances, and your food is fantastic. So I trust that you're going to do what's right by our district, so.
Thank you. We
that's it.
appreciate the confidence. Thank you very much.
I believe Mr. Peña moved to approve the amended motion. So I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, all those in favor for the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. So item 24 and 25 has been approved, and we're moving what item again to executive session? Can you tell me, Eddie?
Sorry.
2456.
That's right,
24.56.
24.56.
Where was the one of the 5 and under, 5,000? I don't see that one.
Oh, that was a different, that was under item 24.
That was item 24.
Item 24.
Right.
That one, I'm gonna, did we already pass that one? Yeah, never mind.
Okay.
We're on the
Let's-
side.
Let's go to item, and these are all basically on Power School, and the majority are employee handbooks, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and 34. The majority are just different handbooks, evaluation tools, and things of that nature. Motion to approve those in a second, and then we'll go and discuss any of these that you need to discuss. Motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Now discuss, correct me if I'm wrong, the majority, Power School is the one we use to power the school up, or that has all the data, and 27 is a handbook, 28 is a handbook, 29 is a compensation schedule, 30 is, again, Texas Principal Evaluation Support System. 31 is T-Test, Principal Evaluation Support System. The next one is the same thing, Teacher Evaluation Support System. The next one is a Texas Teacher Evaluation Support System. And 34, again, Texas Teacher Evaluation Systems, and they're all evaluation systems. Any questions?
I have one question on item 28.
Okay.
Let me see. What, Dr. Salinas, what was the change on this one? Or was there a change?
So on the sick leave bank, the change that we're making is the bank has exhausted the days, and in an effort to not to ask everyone for 2 additional days to revamp the sick leave bank, what we decided to do in conversing with finance, business, and a committee is that the way the budget is set for this fiscal year is we take May snapshot. Anyone employed in May is budgeted for this year. Well, anyone who applies and qualifies for a sick leave bank will be in that snapshot. So what we're doing is taking monies from personnel and use it for the sick leave bank for that individual. That's one change that we're proposing. Instead of going back and re-asking everyone in the sick leave bank for 2 additional days. Days are very valuable right now. This is what the founding fathers proposed at the beginning. In my opinion, we've outgrown that. There's more detection, their medical has advanced in the last 20 years. I don't need to remind you. This is the proposal we have. I feel that the money's there for personnel. It's just shifting it over to the sick leave bank for that individual because they are on the May snapshot.
Is that the same or just totally different where if someone's really sick and they use up other days and somebody has tons saved up that they can say, I want that person to have a few?
Yeah.
Is that totally separate?
Mr. Ramirez, a good question at that time. Yes, that is totally separate. Right now, you would have to qualify to be in the bank in order to draw from the bank. And the bank is written to where you exhaust all leave. We're talking days, short-term, long-term, any kind of benefits you have, whether it be with the district or outside. Once you exhaust all that, then at that point you do apply, and chances are you will be approved with the medical condition.
Now, in my hypothetical, the policy doesn't allow for that, right?
Right.
But do most school districts have that?
That's a good question, Mr. Ramirez. I don't know, but I know you see throughout the state, you see a sick leave bank, or they call it a sick leave pool.
Right.
So guidelines, policies, procedures are all different depending on, what the district.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I still remember when we initiated this, it was basically done to help people who had grievous illnesses, whether it's cancer, heart disease, and things of that nature. Basically, they would exhaust all their sick leave and there was just a way of employees helping other employees of our district in the time of need, simply put. And
yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, every employee is allowed to donate up to how many days?
So as of July, which is this month, every employee who wishes to join the sick leave bank must have 2 available days to join the sick leave bank.
And how many days can they donate?
We asked for 2. What we did right on this, if I'm answering your question correctly, Mr. Ariel, what we did add to the second, I know in speaking to Mr. Pena, when an employee retired, it was my assumption, my mistake, that, for example, I retire, the district pays only up to 100 days, up at 125 professional, 75 para. The remaining days would end up in the sick leave bank. Well, end up using that as a budget change. So now we've amended the sick leave bank saying, I have the option as a retiree to say, hey, my remaining days shall be put into the bank. That's how we hope to recuperate.
That's fine, I understand.
Dr. Salinas, if you can look into that, as far as if someone can actually just give somebody else their
Sure.
day. It might be something that if the policy needs to be changed.
Yes, sir.
Maybe something the board could
It's
consider.
definitely doable right now. What the urgency is, obviously, we want to open up to enroll, and then we can look at the details. Yes, sir, not a problem.
Yeah.
But I thank you all because this is one less thing employees need to worry about when
Exactly.
they're facing with.
It's important.
Yes.
Sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. At this time, motion to approve item 35 and 36 as presented in our board packet.
I so move.
Second.
Second.
Okay. On these board policies that we have, or I mean not board, on these policies, any significant difference on any of them?
On the TASB 123, Mr. Ariel, they're pretty much a reaction to legal updates. So I guess in a nutshell, we don't have an option, but what we do, sir, once the board approves, we go back and forth with our policy consultant, and if we do see a contradiction with what we do practically in the district, at that point, we'll come back to the board and say, hey, this local policy doesn't jive with what we want to do, and of course, if anything stands out, we'll bring it back.
Any questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion's carried. At this time, can we have a motion to approve item 37, 38, 39, and 40 as presented in our board packet?
I so move with a little discussion.
Okay, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Peña. Okay.
Item 37, that's 409. So we can let the public know what this is about, Doc. This
Sure.
is, it involves Grand Canyon University for possible continuing education scholarships. It's my understanding that it's scholarship opportunities that they can apply for, but they can also purchase the ability to work with them, right?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ramirez. So Grand Canyon University has signed an agreement with our Region 1, our local agency, of several universities. UTRGV has reached out to us also, but Grand Canyon was the first to reach out to us and say, we want to present to all your employees, including substitutes. I'm happy to say the district has initiated a meeting with our auxiliary staff. We have Ms. Ramirez with Child Nutrition. We have Chief Hugo Garcia with Police and Security, Mr. Garcia with Transportation, Mr. Epimenio Gonzalez with Maintenance, where Grand Canyon University will be presenting to all our employees an opportunities to attain that bachelor's degree with scholarships afforded to them. Last year, I believe they awarded over $20,000 to 4 of our employees who are attained their degree. Now we want to, make sure everybody's aware. Yesterday, they presented at our leaders meeting. It's just a good thing for people who want to, be a student of the game, continue to learn, and maybe never had the opportunity. So we want to expand that to every single employee, including our substitutes. Grand Canyon being one of them. This is online, scholarship-based. We are looking at bringing UTRGV to some of our events also, so it's a great opportunity for everyone.
Online.
Correct.
So basically, some get scholarships and some people have to pay, I would
Yes.
imagine?
If I recall the numbers correctly, Mr. Villarreal, I believe it's like a 40% scholarship for the bachelor's degree. I believe it's somewhere in the 20 to 30% scholarship for a master's, and they even have doctoral programs. So we want to offer this. It's never too late to go back and attain that goal.
Do you think this is a good proposal for, we've had this before or not, sir?
We've had it, Mr. Villarreal, in the sense that, we get contact with different universities asking us if we would allow them into our district to present. Obviously, our principals are running 100 miles an hour at their campus. So we now that there's an affiliation with Region 1, we want to open the door to these, before the year events that we're having. Like I mentioned, they've come to 2 or 3 events. They provided lunch to all our administrators yesterday. I think it's a great thing, sir, for the reason being that it's an option. It's up to the employee to run with it or not.
Where's Grand Canyon University? Where's it located?
It's in Arizona.
Arizona?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have we basically maybe inspected, and what I'm trying to say, we've had colleges that open up and a year or 2 later, they shut down and things of that nature.
That's a great point, sir. I went through with it for the reason that they signed an agreement with Region 1, and I'm trusting they did the vetting, but we will do the same, just to make sure that.
They've been around since 1949.
Since 1949, sir, so.
Okay, that's fine, because I remember there was a university, Tarkio or something like that, and they basically shut down one day and they left everybody hanging, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Doc, for those that don't get the scholarship, what is the price? I mean, what, do you have any idea?
I don't have that information. Okay. I'll provide it for you. Maybe we can bring it to the next meeting, sir, but that's a great question. I don't know, sir.
I mean, because if it's not too expensive, maybe it's something the board could consider, giving a few, if it's not that expensive, obviously.
And item 38, correct me if I'm not mistaken, item 38 is a Bill Gates grant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's fine. I just want to make sure, we're not, it's a grant completely. Okay. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, can we approve item 41, 42, 43, and 44 with questions? Motion? So move. Second?
Second.
Okay.
For item 43, the pre-EP classes, that's for paying a program so that we can continue to have these classes available, correct?
How was it again? Mr. Marco?
That item is, it's a program that we're using so that our students can take the AP courses and exams.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Peña. We have two programs, the AP program and the pre-AP program. The AP College Board does not charge us to use the AP program. Where they make their money is in the AP tests. Pre-AP, on the other hand, charges us $3,000 per pre-AP course per campus, okay? And we cannot use the term pre-AP because it's copyrighted by College Board. And in order to be able to use that designation in our classes, we have to pay them this fee. Now, they do provide us with a discount. Aside from giving us the right to use the term pre-AP, they also send the teachers many, many ancillaries to help them teach. And they also have the pre-AP classroom. Just like there's an AP classroom, which is online and has many, many assignments and exams that are directly correlated to the AP exams, which is a tremendous resource to the teachers. The pre-AP program also has these type of resources available to the teacher and to the students.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Margot, but if they take an AP course and they get a 3 or 4, they get college credit for it?
Yes. Now, it used to be that some universities required at least a 4, but now all state institutions must accept a 3. And like I've told students in the past, or parents in the past, that between tuition and books, 3 hours are now costing you around $1,500 to $1,800.
Let me
And that's a lot of money. So if these students can take an AP test and pass it, that's saving the parents quite a bit of money. Not only that, but any of you who have ever taken an AP exam or have seen one, they're actually more difficult than a college exam, and I'll tell you why. Because in most college courses, they give you a midterm and maybe 1 or 2 other exams before the final. In the AP course, you take just 1 exam, and that's at the very, very end. So it's cumulative. And so you either pass it, you either get a 3, 4, or 5, or you don't. So another thing that it does is that it prepares our students for the type of rigor that they will be seeing in college. And I, in the past, have spoken to both the actual director, because you know how some of you know that I'm a real pain in the you-know-what. And so I make sure, so I got to the actual director of admissions at Texas A&M University in College Station and to the University of Texas in Austin, and what they tell me that one of the things that they look at is how many AP exams they've passed. And if there's 2 applications that are very similar and one has passed, let's say, 5 AP exams and one has only passed 3, they will give that preference to the student that has passed the 5. Now, there are some universities, like some Ivy League schools, that will not take that credit, neither the grade nor the credit, but they will look at it as a consideration for acceptance to the program. So I've always been a big believer in the program, if, of course, it's implemented correctly, and if it's taught correctly. To me, it's a tremendous resource to prepare our students for what's coming. Because let me tell you, it used to be an advantage to be Hispanic and female. Those were 2 checks that you'd have to be able to get into universities. But now we're having even more and more competition within the Hispanic and the African American community. So now there's competition within Hispanic numbers and African American numbers. So although it's not a guarantee that just because you're Hispanic or female that you'll get into a very, very good school, it still does help. And if you've passed an AP exam, that's even better. I'm sorry that I've gone on and on.
No, I'm all for this program, but that's where I was going with this. If we had funding, because I know last year, I think it was last year, we were giving you, the teachers, a stipend, I believe, for every course that was, every AP exam that was passed. How did that work? And I think that we took that out, and I really would love for us to be able to implement that again, because I think this is like a great, great program.
Well, what we were doing at the time is that the board had allocated up to $20,000, and every teacher that had a student that received a 5 on the exams, they got $150. If a student got a 4, they got $125. If they got a 3 on the exam, they got $100 up to $1,000. Okay? But now, thanks to a lot of help from our administration, okay, and Ms. Benitez, we were able to get the AP teachers onto the teacher incentive allotment. So they will be able to make, we don't need those anymore, because I know for a fact, and this is just because they're consistently very good, our Spanish teachers, instead of just making $1,000, most of them will be able to make, at the very least now, anywhere from 3 to 9, and maybe they'll fall into the mid-tier, so they're going to make quite a bit of money. And now it's up to the teachers, if they wanted to be on the TIA and to participate, and I think that's very important, because teaching an AP class is very, very difficult if you're going to do it correctly. So they wanted to participate, and we were able to get them to participate, but now it's up to them to prepare these students to be able to receive this money, just like some of the EOC teachers.
That's great.
So basically what you're saying, Mr. Margot, is that a lot of the AP teachers qualify for that incentive allotment because
Yes.
they do very well, correct?
Yes.
Let me ask one last question, Mr. Margot. If somebody becomes an AP scholar, they can literally write their own ticket to any university, correct?
Yes, sir.
They can literally get a scholarship anywhere they want, correct?
Yes, and forgive me for, people are going to say that I'm very biased, only because I really am focused. The same thing at A&M, but I know for a fact that we had one of our students receive one year from UT Austin $125,000. So that student not only paid off their tuition, they were able to pay, to use that money for just normal expenses. Okay, and so there is a lot of money out there for our kids. But you have to make sure that your resume has certain things that stick out to them, okay? Your SAT score, now that they're coming back and they're going to start using them again. Your SAT score, your AP scores. Quite frankly, they don't look at, with all due respect, because they've told me this before, they don't look at trash bashes or things like that. They cut through a lot of that stuff. They're looking for certain things that are very, very important, okay? Because sometimes our students fill their resumes with a lot of fluff, okay? And they want things that really, really count. And your SAT scores, have you worked at a hospital? Have you worked at a nursing home? Where it requires real sacrifice and empathy for other people. Those are the types of things that they're looking for. Okay?
Mr. Margot, I just want to state the subject areas. It's algebra, biology, chemistry, geometry with statistics, English 1 and English 2.
Yes, sir. Yeah, those are the AP, pre-AP classes that we have. And what they do is they scaffold onto the AP classes they will be taking their junior and senior year. The pre-AP classes prepare the students for the AP classes that they will be taking their junior and senior
But those
year.
are the core area, there's not another subject area that has?
Oh, no. They get credit for, they still have to take the EOC exam, okay? Okay, but these classes are supposed to be taught at a higher level.
Gotcha.
Thank you, and I appreciate, now that I have your time, I truly appreciate the support that you all have given this program, because I think we need to focus, as I'm sure you would agree, on our high-performing students, right? And I think this program really is very good for our high-achieving students. So I thank you all very much for your support, and I truly, sincerely mean that.
Thank you, Mr. Marco.
Okay.
This time, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's go to approve item 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50, and these are all about books, and you can read them there. Motion to approve item 45 through 50, motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
A discussion. Like I say, the first one is the training, the second one is textbooks, the third one is teacher grant, it's a grant proposal, the fourth one is library services, the 49 is between, and that's the only one I was gonna ask about, is Rio Grande City and ISD and on-ramp, and the last one is interlocal agreement between the University of Texas and on-ramp. What does that mean, on-ramp, could I ask?
Good afternoon, everyone. On-Ramps is a program that we have with the University of Texas at Austin, where our students take classes with UT professors and our teachers at the campus at Rio Grande City High School and Gruya High School.
Do we have to pay them anything, ma'am?
Yes, we do send teachers for training, but it's very, very affordable. And then we also have, for our students, it's extremely affordable as well. We do have an agreement with them, and the tuition is very, very affordable.
So basically, they're taking classes with the University of Texas professors then?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. With our teachers.
On item 45, I'm all about the mentor program. That's also a grant, correct?
That is not mine.
I'm sorry.
No, item number 5.
Who has item 45? Nidia Benitez is put on? Because it didn't say grant on the actual agenda, but it is a.
It's not a grant, it's an allotment.
Allotment.
Right,
Okay.
it's an allotment, and
Okay.
it requires some training that needs to go with it.
All right, that was my confusion, because on the item form, it says program allotment and then funding source MPA grant. So is a
You
grant?
just have to draw down. In other words, it's something that gets allocated to the district, provided Ms. Benitez ensures that we follow these assurances. If she does, then we draw that money back from TA. They reimburse us back.
Okay,
So it's
so it-
called an allotment, not necessarily a grant.
So not money spent by the district?
No, it's money that comes from the state.
Perfect. All right, fair, thank you.
Any more questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, can we have a motion to approve item 51, 52, and 53 as presented in our board packet with any discussion? Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second. Okay, any questions? Rooted Alliance Organization Education Service. What is item 51? What is Rooted Alliance Incorporated? Could I ask?
Good afternoon again. Okay, the Rooted program is with Region 1 and the Impact Network, and it provides college advisors that are hired by Region 1 and come assist, and they are staffed at Gruya High School. So we have two Rooted advisors, they're college advisors that assist the college advisors that through our district at Gruya High School.
But it's free of charge to our district, right?
Correct.
So basically, they provide to
They provide the services, they assist with, they're able to take the students on college tours, they help them with admissions, scholarships, they help them with everything that you do usually, like the role of the college advisor that is by our district as well.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
I have one,
Aye.
Mr. President, sorry. On 53, Mr. Martinez, is that a Mr. Martinez, is that a program we already have in place?
That's Power School.
Yes. Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Power School digital document delivery, it's a new software that we're getting. We used to have K-Swift 12, and that's how we send out the report cards and all that to the parents. They will not be, the vendor that we used to have will not be providing those services, so now Power School is providing those services, and it's basically a secure way to send out report cards or any documents, and it's password protected.
But I like it because it also includes alerts, progress reports,
Correct.
flyers, everything, right?
Correct,
And
yes.
for 10,000, I think it's cheap.
Yes.
So I wasn't aware if we had it now or if it was the new one, because I know we had that program you're talking
Yes,
about.
it was the Swift K-12, and now they're not providing the services anymore, so we're going with Power School.
Did they just stop providing, or?
Well, actually, the individual that had that is working with Power School, so they kind of bought it out.
So you got?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it. All right.
Power School is a program we've worked with for a long time, correct?
Yes, we've had it, I want to say back in 2011, that's when we started with it. 10, 11, we started with Power School, correct.
I think we should, if they can incorporate it with safety stuff, the threats and alerts.
Yes.
Because parents they see something and
Correct.
they get paranoid, so maybe utilize it to that extent too, if you could. It's just an idea, suggestion.
Correct.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, let's have a motion to approve item 54, 55, 56 as presented in our board packet with discussion. Motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Again, if we look at them, it is basically memorandum of understanding between Border Region Behavioral Center and Rio Grande City. It's another one, interlocal agreement between South Texas College and Gruya for dual enrollment, because we do have quite a few kids in dual enrollment. And the last one, considering to participate in the Educational Innovation ERE proposal. It's a grant, basically. Questions?
55, no funding required. Those are always good keywords. That's a good thing. On item 56, I do have a small question on that one.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. It's because it says that we do cover course fees and incidental fees, and then it laid it out, but it was kind of confusing the way the fees are. I'm trying to find the page number now. On page 539, I don't know if that
I don't,
you have.
yeah, no, I don't have that one. 539.
But under incidental fees,
Uh-huh.
it says 125, and then dual credit late processing fee, 200.
Yeah, that is incurred by the student, that 125 is if that student is taking the course for the third time,
Okay.
then that fee is incurred to the student, which it ends up being, I think, $375 because it's a 3-hour course, or the $400 if it's, or the whatever the amount is
So in reality,
for 4 hour.
the district just pays more, the course fee more.
Right, because the district has already paid for the student 2 times.
Right.
Because a third attempt, then that cost is incurred to the student.
That's considered late, right?
Correct. And then the late fee is if a student wants to register for a course after the deadline, but we do vet all that registration before. We have registration drives with STC to ensure that all the students that need to be in the course at the day 1 are there. But
So-
those are, they're just there just in case we do have those.
So it's just the 600 and the 50 more than anything else? that we
Correct.
pay. Okay.
That's correct.
When they finish end of course, they get credit for that particular course, correct?
When they finish the course at the end of the semester, yes, sir, they do get the dual
And
credit.
they have to get at what grade to?
They, a D or higher, they will give them credit, and we can use those for high school
if they
credit
get a
also.
D, they get credit?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, because a D transfers over to a 72.
Is there any way next time you can provide a report for us? It would be interesting to find out, first of all, of the people who take dual enrollment, how many complete the dual enrollment, and how many people get an F, basically.
Definitely, and we've had an increase of success because we are providing support at the campuses. So we do have support of our staff, even for those online courses. So we have seen an increase of success. As a matter of fact, this summer in receiving the grades, we had all students that took a class this summer pass.
Okay, so let me ask last question. So let's say I get a D and they give me credit for it, but wouldn't it be a right or a true statement to say that if I apply to some of the major universities, they're not going to take the D, correct?
Correct. Correct. And we also have to look at the students' GPA because then that'll follow them over when they do enroll post-secondary for financial aid purposes. So that's why we are, as a district, making sure that we're providing the support to ensure the students don't get those grades.
So the D only applies to people or students that go to STC, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to second Mr. Varela's study request, particularly I think when they fail or they're doing not so well, as to maybe why.
Okay.
Why that is. Our
Definitely.
purpose is to improve. 'Cause then it
Definitely, and we did an analysis, and that's why we're providing the support in the
Correct.
summer to ensure that the students are getting the support, especially on the online classes.
That way keep it on going and occasionally update the board.
Definitely, I'll get that report going for you all.
How many times can a student take one class over and over again?
They can take it until they go, but after the third time, that's when they start incurring costs. So we are trying to deter students having to incur that cost, and that's why we're providing that support. So as counseling department, we're ensuring that we're evaluating the students and making sure that they're moving forward in a successful way down their program.
You see, because it says if it's third or more, they're charged 125. But if they enter the course after the census day, I'm not sure what that means. It's 200.
Right. The
But-
census is after the 12th day. That's why we ensure, and we have those drives to ensure that students are in class day one.
Yeah, because then it gets pretty steep, 200.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And Director Escobedo, allow me to personally thank you for addressing our concern. I know you're talking in code. We had a discussion about this about 2 years ago in one of the meetings, and we were concerned over the cost of some of these courses. And so thank you for addressing it and for closing that gap. It was bitter, but also understandably bitter because we understand a lot of them are first-generation college students.
Correct.
So, but thank you so much.
No code, transparent.
Transparent. I'm trying to cut back as much as I can in making sure that the students are successful.
It's
No code.
difficult for them, but that cost, thank you for bringing.
Thank
I
you.
think you brought some kind of table to us of the people, at one time, we had a lot of kids that are not passing or not completing the course, but you say it's gotten better, correct?
It has, and I will bring you the history, and I'll so you can see the increase.
One time it was pretty bad, correct?
Yes, it was.
But even if we ask for that, I don't think it's a knock on, to speak on code, that it's a knock on anybody. Even those that are barely making it or getting the Ds, we need to find out why that's happening.
Right, and it helps us also make sure that we're moving the program forward in a successful way.
To talk in code, it's a knock.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting the situation better, because at times I thought in my personal is that we're spending money that it was not being functional, basically.
Right. We needed to be more cost effective in making sure that we were utilizing our monies.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good job.
At this time, can we have a motion to approve these items? We had a motion, a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. At this time, can we have a motion to approve item 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63 as presented in our board packet with discussion?
I will so move on that.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Tutorials. Can I ask a question of tutorials? Hello, ma'am. How are we doing?
Good afternoon, doing well.
I just wanted to know, our tutorial programs that we're setting up for this coming year, would they be the same as what we had this year? Is it be more or about the same, or and what would we be directing our tutorials at? Would the tutorials be during school or after we finish school year?
The tutorial program will be similar to last year's, but we are trying to expand the program so that we could provide the services needed to the students, not just academically, well, of course academically, but also to reach those students that need to meet the requirements for 14-16. And so that's why we have an additional, one of the other items, item number 60 is that academic boost, which would be run parallel with the tutorial program.
So the tutorials are going to happen during the school year and after school, or?
During the school year, but after
correct?
school,
And in the
correct.
summer?
Oh, that'll be,
That's a
would be another
different
program, correct.
Are the same amounts of funds being allocated for tutorials last year, more or less the same amount that's being allocated this year?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask another follow-up question. Have your federal monies, have they basically stayed the same, shrunk, or gotten a little bit bigger?
No, they've gone also down.
They've what?
They've also gotten down for the knowledge that I have up to now,
Okay,
yes.
how much has your federal funds gone down, more or less, could I ask?
Oh, I'm sorry, I do not have that answer with me,
No,
but,
percentage-wise, 10%, 5%?
do we know that, Ms. Robles? Do we? No.
But
I
have
don't
they
wanna say.
significantly gone down, or just a little bit, you think?
Every year, it comes down a bit, so
The only way we can, correct me if I'm wrong, the only way we can increase federal funds is to increase the amount of kids or children going to our schools, correct?
that'll.
If we have more students, we produce or generate more federal funds, correct?
Correct.
And keep in school.
Okay, what is academic boost program? You talked about it.
Yes, item number 60. So for academic boost, that's also like an extension of our tutorial program, but we're calling it's academic boost because we are using a different funding for that. It's the first time we're using that, and again, so that we could expand the program and be able to reach a lot more students.
Okay. I don't have any more questions for anybody else? Any other questions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. At this time, can we approve item 64, 65, 66, and 67 as presented in our board packet? Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second with discussion.
Second with discussion. Go ahead.
Funding, basically. Where's the funding coming from? Funding.
Okay. Okay.
Good afternoon once again. Just to reiterate what you asked right now on these items 64 through 67, the funding for these renewal of contracts is coming from the 224 funding, which is the federal grant that we receive for special education. And of course, we always say pending availability of funds because, at the time that I wrote all of these decision-making forms, we did not have a final authorization from TEA on our grant, but we just received notice this last week that we were funded. So then the funding is available. Okay?
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What does N2Y stand for, ma'am?
Yes, sir. News to You. And basically, this is a program that we have for our life skills students. This is the curriculum that they utilize, and I can give you a little bit more information on that. We basically have, there are 5 different programs. We have bundled them together as a one product, and we have the unique learning systems, which is for the students to access the general education curriculum. Then we have the News to You, which is going to give them online newspaper that connects the students to the world through news and current events. Then we have what we call the Symbol Sticks Prime, and this one is going to be a way for our nonverbal students to be able to communicate effectively, and this will be able to depict people, events, and activities that are educationally relevant through a relevant symbol set. And then we have the 4th one is the Lifelong Learning and Supplemental Foundational Skills for Learners, which is the L3 skills. And then the last one that we just added last academic school year is the Positivity. And this one is so that we can support student behaviors in the classroom. We need to remember that in the life skills units, we do have a lot of students who are nonverbal. And of course, sometimes, many of them have different behaviors that require specialized, activities and specialized, plan of actions for us to be able to work with them. So this is a program that helps our teachers in those units to be able to, target those behavior goals that we have for them.
Okay.
And the price, actually, I wanted to mention that the total budget allocated for this, including the staff development, is $46,696.74. And it's actually a bundle price, so we are actually saving about $18,000 as compared to last school year. So it is a bargain for us this school year. And of course, the professional development that I have allocated there is for one in-person training, and then the rest are for online trainings. They're very supportive of our teachers, and they're there available at any time to give us any time of, training or feedback.
And ma'am, we're
Yes.
not going to approve any of the, well, we're going to approve them, but you're not going to implement them unless you get funding, correct?
Correct. For these, yes, but we already have the funding.
Okay.
Yes, we have the funding. So we were just funded by TEA this last week.
So
We
it's coming
received
out
the
of funding
NOGA.
for special ed, correct?
I'm sorry?
It's coming out of special ed.
That is
funding.
correct, sir, from the 224 funding. Yes, that is correct.
Mr. Pope and I had discussed this prior, and that's the reason for his question, because we noticed that it was the idea B. And
Yes.
I thought that was 611, and it looked like it was something general for the entire website, but.
No, it's.
There's one line where it says for the special education.
Correct. It is 224 funding, yes. And again, we just received notification that the NOGA, the Notice of Grant Award Program, was awarded to us.
I see I get the credit.
Yes.
All those
And-
in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, can we approve items
Thank you.
68 and 69 in our board packet?
So move.
Second?
Mr. President, I can amend it, item 68, 69,
68 and
70,
69.
71, 72, please.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Basically, I'm going to, on these two questions, number one is the funding, not the funding, the price, is it the same as last year? Is it more, is it less? And I guess funding is coming again from the special ed allocation.
Correct. Are you talking about item number 68, sir? And both of them?
68 and 69.
Okay, 68, yes, sir. The front line, actually, both of them. The funding is coming from 224
Right.
funding, and the front line basically is the information management system program that we utilize for all of our special education teachers and our evaluation personnel for them to be able to do all the arts and paperwork online for the students so that we can generate the reports for
Has
the.
the program more or less stayed around the same price, or?
Actually, yes, sir. We have let me tell you. No, I take that back. On number 2068, the front line went up by $1,200 more or less as compared to last year, $39,649.22. And again, it is being funded through Idea B224. But it's understandable because every year they tend to go up like about $1,000,
Nothing goes down, right, ma'am?
I'm sorry, sir?
Nothing goes down? right?
Nothing goes down, everything goes up all the time, yes. And in reference to item number 69, now that with the new approved dyslexia handbook, as everybody knows, we have a new approval as of April 2024. We are going to be providing the Amplio Learning Technologies Services Program for all of our students at the elementary level so that they can have this, and I'm sorry, this is Ms. Villarreal's item actually, but yes, we are going to be paying this out of 224, Idea B as well.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, can we have a motion to approve items 70, 71, and 72 as presented in our board
Mr.
packet?
Villarreal, it was an amended motion to approve 68 through 72.
Amended motion to approve what?
It was an amended motion to approve.
I had amended it, but you asked for a second.
Okay.
I was going to cover all the 72.
Okay. Well, there's an amended motion, okay, to cover items from 68 to 72. Can we-
Unless there's discussion on
Okay,
those.
there's a motion, second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. At this time, I'm going to move to approve items 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, and these are all having to do with career and technology, the one that, I guess, all of them are great, but to be honest, we're going to, in one of the schools, they're going to start trying to open up an electrical courses to teach, for them to be electricians, which is pretty good, which is item 76. But these are all, I guess, from phlebotomy, assistant medical assistants, EKG, certified nursing, all kinds of career and technology courses. The great thing about career and technology is that in career and technology, we get funded at Mr. Salinas, maybe you could help me out, we get funded at more monies than we do normal courses, correct? And we get paid for transportation, would that be right?
We'll put the motion on the table. The motion is to approve items, the next 5 career and technical education motions, the CTE,
Right.
the CTE programs, 73 through 77.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
I would like to approach.
Yeah, I was going to
Okay,
say
go
they're
ahead.
all career and technology education.
I just wanted, good afternoon, Starconians, good afternoon, board members, Mr. Peña. I just wanted to point out, which I was mentioning to Becky, but she clarified for me, so you won't think it's a lot, because that's what I was thinking. Items number 71 through 74 were already passed by all of you in the last board meeting, which was on June 17th. So she was advised by the attorney to put them again. Is that correct? So I just wanted to clarify that. And on items 75, 76, and 77, the one that is new, we do have a new principal at Gruya High School. He approached me, he wants to bring back dual enrollment career tech classes and increase the dual enrollment classes academic-wise that we have had at Gruya High School, but have declined. So he approached me, we've been working together with STC. We do want to offer a career in technical education electrician, administrative assistant. They will graduate with 24 college hours. Upon that, they can continue at their own discretion to continue to go to SDC and finish their associate. So I just wanted to clarify that, and if you all had any other questions or concerns. Veronica, you don't have any questions or concerns?
These are great. They're
Okay.
great programs. I
Okay.
did the one of the health professions, and it's just great. They're all great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. It's nice to go to electrician and career technology is, not everybody basically is designed to go to four-year college. There's people making a lot of money being other things that do not pertain, welders and things of that nature. So career technology is something I think we need to expand in the future. With that said, we got two more items. I'm sorry. You're right. We got two more items. Item 78 and 79 is discussion and consideration and possible action to explore the optional incentive to generate revenues and improve student outcome and additional days of school year. And item 79, discussion and consideration of possible action for optional flexible school days. And I think what we're asking for is to explore those, and if it's possible to go into those things, it allows, and maybe somebody can explain what that means, please.
For clear purposes of the record, it's initiatives. I think you said incentives. I just want to clarify that it's optional initiatives, not incentives. It might raise concerns.
Board President, members of the board, Mr. Peña. What basically it is we've been looking at different ways to generate funds for the district. And there are two options. I asked Bob Martinez to come up because it's closely related to something of the realm that PEEMS would have to do. One of them is the extended year program, and what that is that working with the district, we would have to exhaust all of our instructional days. I think we have 172, we would have to have 180 instructional days, and what that means is that there would be no waivers. Right now, we submit waivers to the state to have professional learning days. Those learning days are considered for teachers as working days, but they're not considered instructional. And what the optional extended school year would allow us to get funding for up to 30 additional school days beyond the May calendar that the state would fund at 50% per student. So every student that would come to summer school in kinder through 5th grade would generate funds, and those funds could be used to pay the summer program instead of using our title monies to pay for summer. But in order to qualify to be part of that, we would have to extend our instructional days, which would require some kind of adjustment in our calendar that we've already approved. So if that's and then we would have to petition the state for that. But I know our neighboring school district, La Jolla, has recently adopted that calendar, and they've extended, so they're going to have an extended year that'll be funded through through the state. That means you don't use your local funds. The caveat with that is that you would have to have a certified teacher instruct those children for up to 2 hours per day, up to those 30 days. Then what you do with the rest of the time would be up to the district, so that's where we could have STEM camps, we could maybe partner up with the city and do some of the summer track activities. As long as the students are receiving 2 hours of instruction by a certified teacher, then we would qualify for those funds, so. I don't know.
How do you account, I like, I can see the idea, but how do you account for the teachers that are working those 2 extra days, where they don't say, well, I might be getting a bonus, but I'm working 2 additional hours every day?
They would just, they're already working the days, the teachers, what they would do is, they would apply for summer school. So it's basically our summer program, so teachers that would want to work in the summer, we usually have more teachers that want to work than don't. Right, they would extend, they would apply to work for the extended days.
And they would get paid for the summer school.
And they would get paid like their summer rate or whatnot.
Okay, so they're not working.
They're not obligated to work, they would apply to work to be part of the extended year program.
Yeah, because I can already see you saying, well,
And it doesn't really affect the teacher calendar, because on the teacher calendar, it's professional learning days. So they're already working the days, it's the students that are not receiving the instruction. The students need to, we need to exhaust the 180 days.
all right, no, as long as that's covered, because that's the only.
Yes, it's not more days for the teacher, it would be more instruction for the students.
That was my concern. Are we making our teachers work more? But then you just clarified that.
It would be providing more instruction for our
Instructional days
students.
for the kids, but
I
the
think the great thing about that one is in summer school, you can actually have them for 2 hours and you can do, like you say, science camps, or you can even do athletics, which is they want to play flag football. After 2 hours, you can provide some type of activity for the
Like a
kids.
rotation.
And as long as you teach them for 2 hours, we're going to get credit, but there's a lot, we can do a lot of things for a lot of kids that may want to participate in a wide range. For example, I know that the city has summer track. And correct me if I'm wrong, we could do 2 hours and then incorporate
Right.
the summer track.
We could do like a rotation with them.
Exactly. I know that the city does summer basketball. We could do 2 hours and incorporate the summer basketball and basically and things
And even
that
some of
nature.
our coaches at the high school, they do camps for the kids. They do football camp, volleyball camp. I know there was all kinds of camps this summer. We could work with them as well, and they could be part of the rotation, and they could get paid through summer school as well.
I know that Ms. Villarreal does some kind of camps also that has been very successful. That I know she's gotten some donations to do them, but you can actually incorporate that into those camps too, right?
Yes. And then Mr. Martinez can provide more information, I know, because he's been working with Diana Perez at Region 1 on the flex schedule, and that's another option that we've explored. Mr. Martinez, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
How much do you believe, the prediction, how much do you believe that we're going to be saving from our funding?
It would depend on how many students would come. It would basically pay for summer school. The only cost that the district would incur would be the upper grades, like high school. High school would not be part of the extended, so we would have to pay for the high school component of summer school, which is about 16 days.
Let's say, for example, in a perfect world, we get perfect attendance. How much are we saving, approximately?
Well, in other words, whoever would come would generate funds, so we would not pay for a summer program for kinder through 5th grade.
Yeah, let me go to the lady from federal programs. Is she here? Ma'am, how much do we spend in
kinder
summer?
through?
Huh?
1 million.
1 million.
So we'd be
It was a little over $1 million.
How much?
A little over $1 million.
One what, million or 100,000 or?
$1.
1 million?
1 million.
But we have to exclude the higher ones, I
Right.
understand that.
Right.
So I'm figuring it's about 3/4 or $600,000 more or less.
And our regular summer program does not include kinder 1, 2.
So we would be able to add those grade levels as well. A lot of times we exclude them because they don't qualify, because there's no test they failed, there's no program that would cover for them to come to summer school. So we would open it up for kinder through 5th. And they don't necessarily have to fail anything, they just have to want to come for those additional instructional days.
We'd save $1 million, man? Wow.
You have the potential, I guess.
Or even more, right?
More, if more students would come, and the thing is, there's not a whole lot to do here in summer, so I think that it would provide parents the avenue to say, you want to extend, and it's optional, it's not mandatory. Whoever would want to send their children from kinder through 5th, and then, of course, we would still have our high school credit recovery and so on.
Even I'll enroll.
When you disseminate, I think just cover the grounds of it's 2 hours and it's covered summer. I think that's going to be the biggest you watch.
And I'm sorry if I look lost up here, but I usually review the packet way before, and I reviewed an old agenda, and I just noticed there's a new agenda with these 2 items. So before I vote, they're both related, what you just explained, right?
Right. Mr. Martinez was going to explain the flex attendance.
Good afternoon, guys. Board. The flexible attendance schedule, that's not something that everybody in our districts do. It's something that the state provides, and basically what the flexible attendance schedule does, it gives the opportunity to the student to make up days that they were absent. Now, not everybody qualifies to be considered into the flexible attendance schedule. You would have to be considered at risk. At risk can be anybody that has failed a class, or bilingual, or economic disadvantage. But basically what happens here with the flexible attendance, right now our ADA period for our school district is from 9:45 to 10:45 in the morning. So as long as the student is marked present during that time, we get the funding for ADA. If we were to go into flexible attendance again, it doesn't apply to everybody. We would have to get a list of the students that do qualify, and if we want to code them flexible attendance, then what happens is that student we would no longer get the ADA funding for that kid if he was here, for example, today during 9:45 and 10:45, because what happens with a flexible ADA, it goes into minutes. Okay, so every 240 minutes, the student qualifies to get one ADA funding. So that goes by 6 weeks. It does not go for the entire year. So basically what we want to do is target those kids that are not really truant, because if those students that are truant, it would be hard for them to accumulate to 240 minutes daily. So you would want to target the kids that are absent 1 day, 2 days, that we know that they're coming to school. And during the 6 weeks, we can work with those kids to accumulate those 240 minutes to get that funding for that day that they had missed. So again, it's not for everybody. Okay, not all the districts. I think in our region, I think there's only about 5 school districts that are using flexible attendance. So it's something that we want to look into, and it will give us the opportunity to make up the money that's being lost when students are out.
Director Martinez, I know everybody's tired, forgive the question. I would have reached out to you prior, but again, I don't have it. Is this something, that we've ever used this before, or is this?
No.
Okay.
So it's something new that we're looking into. I think it will benefit our district if we were to apply it. But again, I guess we need to sit down and see how, because in talking to Region 1 personnel, it does take a lot of work. It's something that has to be monitored daily, because again, you'll never know exactly what funding you're going to get in the 6 weeks, because of flexible attendance, it goes by 6 weeks. Okay, so if Bob Martinez is out 3 days, this 6 weeks, then I have the entire 6 weeks to accumulate those 240 minutes.
The same, but only within the same
Yeah.
6 weeks. Okay.
So it's something that at the end of the 6 weeks, that's when we would really have an idea of what our funding would be for that 6 weeks.
Let me
Okay.
ask you, Mr. Bob, but a lot of schools are adopting flex scheduling, correct?
Yes.
Because it's basically for the kids that are having trouble coming to school, they can make up the work in 6 weeks, and this district can get credit, simply put. It's a way to generate more funds, correct?
Correct. And the thing with the flexible attendance, Mr. Real, is that the teachers, instead of marking, like right now on our SIS system, all our students are marked, by default, they're marked present. So when a teacher posts attendance daily, it's either they leave it present or they mark them absent. For any student that's going to be coded flexible attendance, on their attendance now, it's going to be minutes, because the teacher is going to have to post the number of minutes that they were in the classroom for that day.
So that's the switch. So
Yeah.
whereas before they would go, say, homeroom first and second, they would be considered present the whole
Present.
day?
So the only, it's not a risk. I know I've explained it to Mr. Peña and to Ms. Morris. It's not really a risk if you code a student flexible attendance, if you know that they're coming. If you know that the student is they're here almost every week, they're here like every day. I think, to me personally, I would want to target the kids that are less truant. Okay. Because the thing is that, again, if you're a truant kid that's out 3-4 days every week, then if a student, if you're here, we mark a kid that's flexible attendance and he's truant always, but he was here during second period, but we're not going to get the funding for that second period because we already told the state we're going to go by minutes for that particular student.
So you're basically targeting the kids that are kind of truant or basically not coming to school often, correct?
The ones that are coming to school. I would want to code the flexible attendance to kids that I know are here, because if I'm here 1 or 2 days, if I'm absent 1 or 2 days during the 6 weeks, I would want to help you accumulate those 240 minutes to get that funding. So, and at the end of the 6 weeks, we can have the full ADA for that particular kid.
And And you met with the truancy officers and everybody kind of feels this switch is
I have not discussed it with them, but once we decide if it's something that we want to do, then we're going to have to put a team together.
there's no deadline to accept it just yet?
According to Region 1, once we apply for flexible attendance, once we get approved, we can start implementing the plan. So in other words, we cannot implement flexible attendance until we get approved by TA.
Mr. Martinez, you said,
Why don't we make a motion to approve this so they can apply, and then bring it back to us and decide
So
whether we want to go
it's
forward or
just to
not?
apply until we understand the nature of the absence.
And again, the flexible attendance, you do not want to code everybody that's at risk. The main requirement to be coded flexible attendance, you have to be at risk. Again, you don't want to code, to me personally, you would not want to code everybody flexible attendance.
what do they classify as at risk? What about non-traditional students or something like that? Do they fall in that category?
Which was
Like those that go work, or maybe they're pregnant, or
all that is considered at risk.
all that? Okay.
All that is considered at risk. So even like our kids that are at chance to be, we can code them flexible attendance.
That was my next
Yes,
question.
because those are kids that we want to work with.
Authority to apply.
Exactly, because we have to apply first, correct?
You have to apply first before
But
you
why don't
start.
we give them authority to apply for these two programs, and then if we do get accepted, then come back and tell us all the details of how it's gonna work and see if we wanna go forward. So can I have a motion on item 78 and 79 to approve item 78 and 79, giving them the authorization to apply for these programs and bringing them back to the board?
So move.
Second.
I second.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under the authority of Texas Government Code Section 551.71, 551.84, 084, we are now going to close session. The time is? 1:40. 1:40. At this time, we're reconvening in the closed session. Let's start off with no action on item A, correct, Mr. Baltasar?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna
Actually, Mr. Varela, we need to
We're gonna
approve
bring
the.
back the executive
We got to go
session,
back to open
safety.
and then break to
Okay.
executive.
At this time, before we go, we are going back to item, we're opening up the closed session, but we are going to item CFP-24-56. Do I have a motion to approve this item?
After discussion in executive, I move to approve item 25, bid CSP number 24-56.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Not all those favoring signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Now let's go discussion personnel, no action. Discussion on resignation of existing personnel, motion.
Motion to approve is discussed in executive session.
Second.
Second.
Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Number 3, discussion and recommendation of employment to vacant positions.
Motion to approve is discussed in executive.
Second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pope. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Item D, discussion on possible student expulsion.
I raise the same motion.
Okay, motion to approve is discussed in executive session. Second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Item E, discussion of possible amendment of changes to superintendent's contract. Motion.
A motion for the amendment is discussed in executive.
I second.
Second. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
For that one, I'm going to vote against.
Okay, so let the record reflect that we have Ms. Veronica Barrera voting against, and I think.
They have to abstain.
And Noe Castillo is abstaining?
And myself abstaining.
Okay, and Eddie is abstaining. Mr. Velazquez, 4? Mr. Pope, 4?
4.
And Mr. J. Peña, 4?
Affirmative.
And me, 4, okay? So it passes.
Mr. Varela, may I just say a few words of thanks to the superintendent?
Yeah. At this time, let me take an opportunity to thank Mr. Adolfo Peña for the last 3.5 years. He got us through some good times, gotten us through some bad times. At the end of the day, I think he did a good job. And I want to thank him for all his years of service here, because I think he's been part of the RGCGISD school district for a number of decades. So thank you, Mr. Peña. With that said, item F, I don't think, no action, right?
No action. I think there's a motion pending under item E. Is that correct?
What's item G? It's on the addendum, item G.
Item E, pardon me. Yeah, okay, got it. You're
It's
right.
item G on the agenda.
Yes, I have an old agenda, yes.
You have to be there.
I got it. All right, there is no action under item F, and I believe there's one item remaining that would be item G. Do we have a motion on item G? Right here, I got it.
And that's discussion and possible action on appointment of an interim superintendent.
I guess I move that we approve Elsa B. Morris as interim superintendent on a month-to-month basis.
There's a motion on the table. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Motion is seconded. Can we have a vote on the motion?
I'm going to
Our
abstain.
panel, I'll start with Dr. Barrera.
I'm abstaining from that.
Abstention. We'll move to Mr. Velazquez. 4. 4. Mr. Pope.
4.
Mr. Noe Castillo. 4. And Mr. Ramirez.
Abstaining.
Abstention.
Let the record reflect that I did not participate in any form in the discussion. I stepped out, and at this time, I am abstaining from any votes, did not participate in any discussion.
And I will verify that during any discussions that we had, Mr. Villarreal was asked to leave executive session, so he has not been part of the process because they are related, so.
Mr. Balthazar, for the record, I just want to say that I abstain from this one because I am not agreeing with a reassignment of the superintendent position.
Your objection is noted, ma'am.
At this time, Ms. Morris, if you want to say a few words before.
Let me take a deep breath first. I'm honored and I'm very grateful, and I speak from the heart when I speak today. This is my 30th year in the Rio Grande City GISD School District. This was unexpected. I wasn't expecting this to happen so quickly. But I also am very grateful to the mentors that I've had, to the people that I've worked with, the opportunities that have been afforded to me in my tenure here in the district. So I'm grateful to Mr. Peña for seeking me to be his right hand, and I will remain eternally grateful to Ms. Vilma Garza. And I cannot go without saying I'm very grateful to Mr. Roel Gonzalez, who also has been one of my mentors. So it takes a village to shape who we are as individuals, and I am not going to make any promises, but I can give you my word that I will try my very best. I will continue to do what is best for students, and I think that when you do what's best for students, you usually do the right thing, and sometimes doing the right thing isn't always very easy. Even today, when I was called in, I was like, am I doing the right thing? You know, this is a lot of work, I'm taking on a lot, but I am vested in the community, and I love what I do. I do my job with passion, and I take it very, very seriously, and I hope that people are able to see, I guess, a different side of me that maybe if they haven't worked closely with me, they haven't seen. But if asked to do this job, would I do it in a heartbeat? I didn't hesitate to say yes, I would be willing to help, because whatever may be happening in the background, like I always say, the drama needs to be put aside. We have a job to do, and we have a commitment and a moral obligation to do what is right for our students. So I come to you with great gratitude, and I just ask for your support, and I hope that we can communicate, because I am a communicator, and I think that when we communicate well, we can accomplish a lot of great things together. So I want to thank you. I'm grateful, I'm humbled, and more than anything, I'm really honored that I get to do it in the district where I started my teaching career in 1995. So thank you.
With that said, motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Before we go, Mr. Villarreal, just for the record, I think it's important for us to mention that Mrs. Morris is not seeking any compensation for.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that, Mr. Vasquez?
It's because you weren't there.
So everybody
Mr.
can hear. No, go ahead. You're the one. Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention that, for the record, that Mrs. Morris is not seeking any type of compensation. We did ask several questions, and that was one of the questions. So I think that's a plus for the.
So
for the
basically,
district.
it's not costing the district a single penny,
A
correct?
single penny.
On that same token, well, everybody's eager and encouraged about the future. When things like this happen, you don't shun away the person that has spent 28 years in the district here. You know, give him a pat on the back, encourage him. You don't, if Mrs. Varela Morris, God forbid, goes through the same thing a couple of years later, you're gonna expect them to want the same for her. I mean, they're pillars. These guys are integral to the district. They wouldn't proceed forward. I want to applaud everybody that went into that interview room. It was kind of interview by fire at this point in time. But under the superintendency, there was a lot of first aid ratings. You're talking about first time that Commissioner Morath has ever recognized this district or called us in to be part of briefings and meetings and stuff of that nature. I mean, go to appear at the leadership conferences. That doesn't happen by chance. That people dedicate their lives to this district, to their cause, to what they do, pay or not pay or whatever. That's everybody's character, everybody's preference. But hey, everyone that does that kind of, including the people that are sitting here, deserve that love and recognition and respect. And so to Mr. Rodolfo Peña, speaking for me and for my behalf at least, I applaud him. I thank him for his time because he was devoted to his district. Regardless of ideologies, differences, and whatever, we owe him that much. So, like I said, I'm eager, and I know this Varela Morris is up to the challenge. We can't wait to what the future holds. But if y'all see him, text him, call him, go pat on the back. He deserves that much.
Okay, Mr. J. Peña, let
Yeah.
everybody speak a little bit.
Yeah, I'll add to that. I think it's hard to avoid that there's some type of a negative tenor to the decision here today. There's no negative tenor to it. To me, I see it as a very positive thing, as a benefit to the fact that Mr. Peña is still part of the team. And so I think this is an opportunity to what would be leverage the talent of two individuals, in this case, I think, to tackle some of the difficult obstacles that Texas legislature has thrown towards the way of school districts in Texas in general. So I see it as just an opportunity here to expand the team, and also we go back and we emphasize what is the interim nature of this decision. This decision can be changed a few months forward. We don't know, but we have to be flexible in order to combat or to deal with some of the situation that we're dealing with as a school district. And so I see it as a positive. It's a teamwork situation. Very much appreciative to Mr. Peña, and look forward to Mrs. Morris on working with you, and whatever we can do to help, we're available as always.
I didn't forget to mention those that showed up to interview. We got Mr. Recio, Lupita Garza, who am I missing? Cayo, thank you, Cayo. Of course, Morris.
And there were individuals who turned it down.
Yes,
as well. So
not everybody won.
No comments, real quick.
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Peña for everything he's done in the last 5 or 6 years. I guess I don't even remember what it is, but it's not easy. It's a big task. It's a monster to run. We're in charge of all the kids. You guys are in charge of the kids. We just sit here once a month, and of course, the board has a decision to make. I do want to thank everybody that was called in a little while ago. It's not easy. You were put on the spot, and school starting really soon, and I think that we do have to make a decision based on everybody's voice that's here. Everybody has a different picture of what's going on based on what everything that's going on around us. So I want to thank Mr. Peña for everything he's done, and everybody else. And like Jay said, he's still going to be here. And Ms. Morris will be here to assist you in any way we can. And of course, we just have to turn the page and keep on going. Thank you.
Mr. John Paul?
I mean, this is my first 4 years on the board, and obviously Mr. Peña was there with me, and he was very informative and very helpful many times. And I just want to thank him for the time that he put in and for being so helpful and answering my calls whenever I called, trying to answer every question that I had. And maybe I expected a little too much, but what, he tried and he did his best for me. And at this point in time, it's looking forward to the criticism that we're going to be getting, but at the end of the day, you have to understand that we're here on this board. We have difficult decisions to make, and obviously we don't like to make them, but we try and do it with the best interest of the children and the administrators and everybody in the staff. And so we look forward to working with you also, Ms. Morris. And if there's anything I can do, obviously I just ask that we look we try and help each other and look forward to what's best for the district, because obviously we care about it. I'm from here, I've lived here my whole life, and I obviously want what's best for the children. And at this point in time, obviously, it's not final what we have done, the decision we made, but at this point in time, we thought it was the direction we had to go. So thank you, Mr. Peña, and thank you, Ms. Morris, for, you know, when we asked you and you said, you know what, I love what I do, and I'm not asking for compensation because this is good enough for me, and this is what I enjoy doing. And you know, when you do something you love, it's not really a job to you, and obviously you're doing what you love, and thank you for helping out.
Eleazar.
I kind of feel bad Mr. Peña's not here, but I mean, changes was, sometimes nobody likes changes, but they're necessary. I don't want to sound brutal or bad, but we get elected by the people, by you all, and one of the things that I like the most is to listen to the community. And many employees were begging for a change, and we need to listen to them. We're not here like they are, so most of my decisions, you all know, I base them on us having ears throughout the community. So I think we made a good choice, and Mr. Peña, like I said, I feel bad, but change is necessary.
Veronica.
Yes, well, I'm going to stand firm on my decision that I don't think it's the best decision financially for even if we're not compensating Ms. Morris because of, you know, having a person contracted to do a job and getting the same salary without performing that job. That's where I stand. But that does not mean, Ms. Morris, I abstain, but I look forward to working with you. Like you said, if this is about the children, I'm all for working with you, and I really pray that it's the best decision that we made. Thank you.
First of all, last thing I would say, I want to thank Mr. Peña for the last 3 years. I've known Mr. Peña for the last 25 years. Thank you. Nice gentleman, kept us informed and things of that nature. On a different note, Ms. Morris, you have a big job. Everybody's, I'll be frank with you, everybody from Austin, Texas, Dallas to Brownsville is having problems with finances right now. You have a big job ahead of you. You have a good staff, and I think all these school board members are ready to work in any form or fashion. But like Mr. Velasquez said, the best part, you're not charging us a penny. Thank you very much.